For the rest of this week. And, well, of course, with Mizzou on the bye, the waiting game continues as to what Mizzou will look like on offense with now Matt Zollers in there. But Eli Drinkwitz is trying to say on the SEC teleconference today, look, we're not going to change what we're trying to do, when he was specifically asked about designed runs. So how do we feel about that, Brendan? That's what we'll get into today.
Yeah, I've heard this before when it pertains to a quarterback getting hurt and not looking to change things up. But would it be any different this time based on the fact that your depth chart is thinning out at the position? So we'll talk about it.
So we'll see what it looks like for Mizzou there. We'll talk about our SEC football tiers. We'll have an update on that as well. And, well, that'll be some shifting around. I will not deny Brendan on Vanderbilt anymore. That'll be fine and good.
Which sucks, because I don't even want you to give them credit now. After they got outplayed by Mizzou. I'm having a hard time with what I'm going to do with those tiers.
Yeah, exactly. You have to reckon with that. 5:05, we'll have our SEC football tiers. We'll also have a conversation with Brian Smith of Mizzou Wrestling. That season's this weekend. Starts on Sunday. So get ready for Tiger Style Wrestling very soon. We'll check in on his team and how he feels about it at 5:45. And, we also have to discuss the exhibition game from last night for Mizzou women's basketball.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You said they played Maryland, right? They played a good power program Maryland and took a close loss.
Different Mary. Maryville, actually.
Maryville.
Yes. And it did not go the Tigers' way.
Oh, boy.
So we'll discuss that at 4:25. Call or text us at 573-875-KTGR. You can also tweet us at KTGR Big Show. We're live on Facebook at KTGR Big Show over there, and on YouTube at KTGR Sports. Give us a subscribe if you don't already.
Now, the Big Show's Big Deal.
So Eli Drinkwitz did give some injury updates today when it comes to Beau Pribula and Brett Norfleet. Did not have a timetable for Pribula's recovery. Did confirm once again that it is a dislocated ankle without any bones broken. He will not require surgery, but still the expectation is that Matt Zollers is the quarterback for now, as the Tigers now have a week and a half before their next game. Texas A&M, the next opponent, on November 8th. It'll kick off at 2:30 in Columbia, and you can hear it on KTGR. Meanwhile, Drinkwitz also said that tight end Brett Norfleet, who suffered a dislocated shoulder in the Vandy game this past Saturday, he's considered day-to-day. That's maybe a more encouraging update based on the injury that he sustained. We'll see what happens as the Tigers get ready for this next week of practice before Texas A&M. And that is the Big Show's Big Deal on this 29th day of October, 2025. Call or text us here, 573-875-KTGR here on the Big Show if you want to discuss all things Mizzou. That was the encouraging part of it, Brendan. Brett Norfleet has certainly turned into the weapon on offense that I think a lot of people were hoping him to become the last couple of seasons. And now it's looked really good from him offensively. And you worried about his health going forward when I believe he was in a sling during the end of that Vandy game. And you worried about whether he would be available. But that seemed like a pretty positive update, all things considered, from Eli Drinkwitz on that front, at least.
Yeah, described as day-to-day is certainly better than what it could have been. And it's not to say that, that's not still maybe a little bit overly optimistic in how the description went down, right? We're not going to really know until we get into game week of A&M and there'll be the availability reports. And, it wouldn't even stun me if Norfleet maybe isn't able to play in that game. Day-to-day would imply that you think by 2 weeks from now he should be ready to go. Like I said, until we get the availability report and have a better idea of his status, we won't know for sure. But he easily, based on being in a sling and the way that looked, you could say, Norfleet's out for the season too. And that's not what Trink said. So I'm taking the win. The wins have been rare recently, and so I'm taking this one and I'm running with it and saying, all right, good. At least Norfleet escaped probably what could have been a more serious injury, it would seem.
Yeah, so we learned a little bit more about Norfleet's status. That'll be more up in the air, but still it seems positive from that front. No new information really on Beau Pribula. The expectation still is, okay, it's Matt Zollers. But let's hone in on maybe a specific question that I believe during the SEC coaches teleconference was in response to Eli Hoff's question of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch when he asked about, look, you've got Matt Zollers now running things, it would seem, and with a mobile quarterback like Beau Pribula and how you tried to use him in designed runs, do you now take away designed runs from most of the arsenal of your offense? And here was Eli Drinkwitz's response to that.
There's a lot of people who run their quarterback and injuries happen. They're kind of a unfortunate part of the game. But, we're going to have to do what we need to do to win. And whatever we need to do to win is what we're going to do. And we're not going to put any limitations because of fear on our team. We don't operate in a fear mode. We operate in an aggressive mode.
We don't operate in fear. We operate aggressively. How do you take that, Brendan?
I take it as I don't really expect him to say anything differently. I hope it's thoughtful aggression. I hope it's let's do some things that make sense and make sure that we understand that Matt Zollers is kind of the last line of defense here before you're getting into some really untested waters that we don't want to see during an SEC schedule. I believe he named Brett Brown would be the backup.
That's it. Yep.
And he's got no college experience. So
he was with the team, but he was not on the team to start even this season. And then when Sam Horn went down, they said, hey, come on back. And now he's here.
Yeah. So that's not a situation that you prefer to delve into. I'm sure he'd ball out if given the chance, but let's hope it doesn't come to that. I think, though, when you look back to the way that he approached it, Drinkwitz approached these questions and this topic after Horn's injury, and the way we talked about Beau Pribula is like, well, he is a mobile guy. That's part of the allure of what makes him, competent at the position. And so you can't stray from that if that's what it makes him successful. I think Zollers has mobility. I don't know if he's going to be where you think of him as a dual threat, a running quarterback. I think he showed in the Vandy game, though, he can get around, he can escape the pocket if necessary. And, if you give him green grass, he's liable to take it. But I don't think you're going to see really the quarterback design run stuff with Zollers the way that you did Beau Pribula. Like, it doesn't benefit Eli Drinkwitz to declare that to opposing defenses.
Yeah.
But I would be shocked to see the frequency of Zollers in the running game that we did see from Beau. And what we did see from Beau, I think as the season went along, is like he was more opting to slide when it was appropriate. Like that was clearly something that drilled in after a couple of games and knowing, that there's just not a lot behind you. I think he was more careful with some of those spots of sliding when you can. And I think that's what will be preached to Zollers as well. But I guess Andy, long-winded way of saying I just don't think it benefits Drink to say anything much differently, but it is one of those where you're like, hopefully we're doing a little bit of the gamesmanship with this, because we got to recognize that we like Zollers. We're excited about what he showed. Behind him, you don't like what you have, frankly, because if you did, like, Brett Brown would have been with the team prior to the Sam Horn injury. So we don't have to put lipstick on the situation. This is your last line of defense. You got to treat it appropriately. But in the teleconference, you can say whatever you want. It's really what he says to the team and to the kid that matters.
Yeah, say what you need to say to essentially every other coach that's listening, because that's really all you care about, who you're talking to. You don't necessarily care about the fact that you're talking to the public. No, the only people that are really going to hone in on every word that you say are the opposing coaching staffs that are on your schedule, and they're going to try and parse out your words and say, like, okay, what that probably means they're going to run this.
The proof is going to be in the pudding. We're going to have games that are played, and we're going to see how they handle it with Matt Zollers. I do not believe Matt Zollers is going to be getting design runs on the 2. Maybe Kirby Moore will have to give it to Ahmad Hardy now if they get into another goal line situation. He'll have no choice. That's what I hope.
Or do you have one of those
figured it out to this point?
You have one of those situations where somebody lines up under center. I'm not talking about the Tyler Macon play, but I know that's where your mind wanders. But like maybe a tight end that lines up underneath and take the snap, kind of like what the Chiefs have done every so often with
find your Noah Gray, find your I don't care who it is, but I think that is not unreasonable. Now, it's not to say that there's not a moment to quarterback sneak something in the realm of a season? I can't say for sure. I just don't think it's going to be a regular part of the playbook where you're like, we're scripting this out and Zollers is now going to run the quarterback draw 3 times a game. Like, I just would be surprised if that comes to pass. But like I said,
the only time he should get past the line of scrimmage is if he's under duress, he needs
scrambling,
to scramble,
and he takes 8 to 10 yards and you slide.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's all you need to do. Other than that, I think his arm talent is what is able to be the strong suit if you're able to bring that out of him. And Eli Drinkwitz talked about also what he feels that Matt Zollers has been able to gain and how well he understands the playbook to this point early on in his college career.
Pretty well. I mean, he's had, the last 8 weeks of opportunities to be the number 2 and get the reps. And, we do a 2-minute drill every Wednesday, and he's gotten every single one of those. We do dirty show every Tuesday with noise. He's gotten every one of those the last 8 weeks. So, he's prepared. Obviously there's only things that occur in games that he'll learn from, and we don't expect him to be perfect. But we're very excited about his opportunity. I've been adamant about Matt being the future of our program. And he just gets a chance now to step into it early from an experience standpoint. And he's got a really good defense to lean on. We got to play better up front for him. And we got to continue to find advantages in special teams and clean that area up so that he doesn't feel all the pressure.
And that's like still high praise, even from that moment where, you're kind of up against it, but you also recognize, look, Matt Zollers is a special talent. And this goes back to, like he says, he was adamant from the start. It's not really new news what he's said about Matt Zollers and him being the future of the program. Like the fact that he would not rule out Matt Zollers from whatever you call it, the QB competition, if it was that, if it was not, but like he mentioned him like unprompted and said like, he's not out of it. And so like that is meaningful. And also the fact that, look, he had to be thrust into a situation where he's one play away from having to know everything and having to lead his team in a big game. And now, sure enough, that's happened. And I think he has learned from that.
Yeah. And I mean, at least in what we saw at Vanderbilt, it demonstrated maybe why Drink was hesitant to count him out too early back in August or whatever it was, because clearly he's got some chops. Like he's got some talent. He's got some ability to put it together and to lead an offense. And it's a small sample at this point, an incredibly small sample, but I was encouraged by what I did see. And now you've got a couple of weeks knowing you're going to be the guy. Like I would like continued updates on what's going on with Beau Pribula because I'm rooting for him, but I also don't expect to see him again this year. Like just realistically, that's not really like part of my thought process as we think about the rest of this regular season. Matt Zollers is going to start, the 4 games for this team. I feel pretty confident in that. So we're going to see what he's made of, and we'll leave the conversations of what happens after the season to after the season. But this is going to be his opportunity, and he seems about as well equipped for it as I could have hoped. Right? Like if you would have told me going into the Vanderbilt game what was going to happen, I would have said, well, what's that offense going to look like? Like he's got no experience. Anytime he's come into games before, rarely do they let him throw the ball. It's mostly you're handing it off in garbage time. So there's no basis to expect what he showed us other than the hype surrounding him as a however many star prospect coming in. And he looked good. So we're going to cling to that for the next, the next 11 days until a game happens and hope that he shows it again against Texas A&M, because that game just feels like it's everything if you're still clinging to, wanting to really see a special season unfold. We saw a defense from Mizzou, Andy, that on Saturday indicated to you that they're ready to do their part of really still making a special season happen, the way they shut down Diego Pavia. We got to get the offensive part of it, and you're up against it because you've lost 2 quarterbacks. You're down to your 3rd string. But from what we've seen of this kid, I'm not gonna count him out before we start on it. And I think he can give you a fighting chance, but it's going to take everybody, and it's also going to take catering the offense to suit his strengths, suit the strengths of Ahmad Hardy, and see where they can go from there.
Yeah, and I'm not too discouraged by how Mizzou might approach this, because the way that they were operating still, even in a tough situation against Vandy when they had to throw Matt Zollers in there, I don't think they could. Look, quarterback run went out the window mostly instead of scrambles, but everything else was largely there. And you operated fairly well to the point where you had 3 double-digit play drives. I know there weren't really too many points finished off with them. Red zone, obviously, still something that has to pick up. But, yep. I mean, there is very clear potential with how you can use a guy like this. And I think the fact that they didn't have to throw out a lot of their plays that they were maybe planning to come back to in the game shows that if they get 2 weeks to, find this guy a rhythm in an offense or in a script of 35 to 40 plays to work from, then you can find some success that way. It just then comes down to, all right, you're the guy now, and that's a different mental state than just being ready for whatever might come your way, just rolling with the punches. Now you know for sure that, okay, Texas A&M is game planning for me. How do I respond to that? That's going to be the test now for Matt Zollers.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And you're talking about another run defense for Texas A&M that's a pretty capable unit. Looking now, they've given up 119.9 rushing yards per game. That was 27th in FBS. So they've got a pretty good track record when it comes to that. And you're going to have to probably try to establish the run. I feel like we talk about this going into every single game. But you're also going to look at, the way that they've played this year, and there have been teams that have been able to score points on A&M and throw on them a little bit. I'll have to look and see what they're specific to their past defense, what that's looked like. But I think largely you're going to go into this one thinking, all right, Mizzou with Zollers has the ability to run a pretty balanced offense, not shade it to one direction or the other. You let the game come to you in terms of the script of what you need to do. Hopefully you don't get really far behind and feel like you have to throw and abandon the run. But if they can get the job done in front of him with the blocking, Andy, I think that's going to be true for both Zollers and for Ahmad Hardy and Jamal Roberts, and getting the run game going. The offensive line's probably going to have to play its best game of the season to win on November the 8th, just because we've seen some fits and starts where that unit maybe has not been as productive as they were early in the season. It's going to take everybody, but I don't think you can look at the situation and say, oh my gosh, we've gone from Beau Pribula to Matt Zollers, it's over. And I just don't think that's an accurate way to look at this. I bet they've got some confidence, and they're eager also within that building to show, hey, this is still the Missouri Tigers, and this kid's ready to put this offense to the best of its capabilities. And it's not like they've been pouring on the points in the last 3 weeks anyway. It's not like they're taking an offense that had been humming and they're bringing in another option. They're taking an offense that had stagnated at times and we've had frustration with for 3 weeks, and now it's just a different guy trying to see what he can jar loose.
We'll see. And it's by necessity now. I don't think there are all that many people calling for Matt Zollers.
They weren't going to make a change.
Pribula was hurt, and it was never happening, obviously. No. But now that it's happened, all of a sudden people are kind of intrigued by, okay, maybe something
kind of that house money
come through. I mean, a
house
little
money
bit,
attitude, a little bit,
to the point where, look, you do know that Zollers is a guy you want to keep around, and
right.
Like it does matter how he looks for the future of your program. And so it is kind of important game. So I don't know if it's like the house money mentality, but it's intriguing. Like, you were wondering what Matt Zollers was going to be at some point. Thought it was maybe going to have to wait for Beau Pribula to have his turn until you actually saw what Zollers was going to be. But now you get that, and it's kind of intriguing.
By the way, and like, I'm not even, because I truly don't know who the football coach is going to be at Missouri next year, I can't then say, well, let's talk about which quarterback they're going to use, because there is so much that we got to get resolved before I really feel like wasting breath on that conversation. But if we were to do that, obviously with Beau, you had the limitations of the downfield passing attack this year. And if you had gotten through the rest of the season, let's say you go 10-2, let's say you go 9-3 and you do fall short of the playoff, but still have a really productive season. Even then, I don't think it would have been a conversation. They would have said it's a competition going into next camp. I know that. But I also would probably have expected Pribula to be the quarterback in 2026, right? If the regime stays the same. Obviously, now we're going to get a chance to see how Zollers look, in the notion of, assuming Drink's still here, Beau's still here, Zollers is still here, a competition next year. could be more legitimate. And I don't think there's a better teaching point than this season to tell you, you need at least 2. You probably need 3 quarterbacks that you feel like under the duress could actually get the job done and lead your offense. So if anybody was ever thinking, oh, I'm just the backup, it's not worth it to.
Mizzou has needed to turn to a backup each of the last 2 seasons now.
And now we're on number 3.
Yeah.
Whether Beau would have been 1 or Sam would have been 1, you axed one of them against an FCS school. And your kicker, by the way. But now you're in a situation where, like, we're going to see Matt Zollers play. My hope, can I just play a hypothetical for a moment and tell you what I want Mizzou football to look like for the next, 10 months?
Yeah.
What I want to happen is this week, we're not going to know it, but this week, the administration that knows how important Eli Drinkwitz is gets him to sign a Scrooge McDuck contract extension. They don't announce it, right? Because remember the last time they announced it before the Kentucky game and lost, and it was the whole thing? They're going to announce it after Mizzou and Matt Zollers beats Texas A&M. Again, let me live in my dream world for a moment.
Okay.
Come along with me on a ride.
Yeah.
They wait to announce it after that, and everybody's like, yeah, screw Florida. Forget about you, LSU. Penn State, you can't have him. Good luck. Whoever you find, because Drink wants to be here. We beat A&M. They announced to the world that we've got our guy, and Beau Pribula heals up. And, whether they make the playoff, don't make the playoff, they go into next year going, Beau Pribula, Matt Zollers are 2 of the, 7 or 8 best quarterbacks in the SEC. And they're both on our team, and they're going to compete for the job. And both of them are happy to be here because they know if they're the backup, they still might have a chance to play. And they want to be in a competition. Because I honestly think, for as much as Drink has talked about Zollers being the future of the program, if you were to take a step back from that and actually consider, well, how's that going to work? Because we know this is the NIL era. This is the transfer portal era. Do we really think that a guy of his caliber is going to wait 2 years and then in his 3rd year get an opportunity? I don't know that would have been a given. But now it's like, well, he's going to get to play as a Missouri Tiger starter. Pribula will have done so. And then, you can see how the chips fall at that point. If anything, I hate to say blessing in disguise because I think it stinks that Beau's hurt. But like in terms of getting to live out, what does it look like for Matt Zollers to lead this team? We're at least going to see it for 4 games and have an idea and more data with which to make decisions. More data to say, hey, look, we think Beau's still going to be the starter, but we've seen enough from Matt Zollers. We got to pay him too, and we got to make sure we keep him here in NIL for 2026 in the same way that Sam Horn was making NIL and so was Beau Pribula. Like, it's data, Andy, that you're able to gather, I think, from these next 4 games of Matt Zollers. And so from that standpoint, it's at least a nice consolation to know it won't go the way of Sam Horn, where, like, we always thought one day he'd start for Mizzou, and then it never really materialized due to injury. We're at least going to see, pending his health, Matt Zollers start 4 games for Mizzou, which I think is, in a vacuum, a cool thing, an exciting thing to see.
I am not going to make predictions for the next month.
Those weren't predictions.
What could
those
happen.
weren't predictions.
Okay, all right.
That was my hypothetical Happy Brendan dream world, and I wanted to live there for a minute.
That's it. Yeah.
Because stepping back into reality scares me.
Oh, yeah.
Over the last week or so.
Call
last 4 days or so.
573-875-KTGR. If you want to leave a comment on our YouTube channel or on Facebook, tell us what you think Matt Zollers led Mizzou offense can look like against Texas A&M in a week and a half. We'll get more thoughts on that. Be sure to text us or call us 573-875-KTGR. Up next, we will also talk about, let me check my notes here. Mizzou women's basketball. They played an exhibition against,
they played Maryland.
Maryville.
Right? Maryville.
The Maryville Saints. Oh, and
Maryville.
Oh, and Maryville won. Oh.
Well, the exhibition game. So it doesn't count as a loss.
It doesn't.
Boom.
Hey, there you go. There's the optimism we need on this show. Will we have that optimism after the first game? Well, I guess we'll discuss that next here on The Big Show, KTGR.
The Big Show with Andy and Brendan continues next on your total sports station, KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company. They are round for you, and if it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. They want to also remind you that it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and all this month they are bringing back their Breaks for Breasts campaign. What this means is that you can get a qualifying brake job at Lee's Tire Company all throughout this month, and you can either get $40 back or you can donate that $40 to breast cancer research. And on top of that, Lee's Tire Company will match that $40 donation. Just another way that Lee's Tire Company not only knows how to get you the right tires, how to work on everything else on your vehicle, but also help make a difference, especially during this month as we try to fight that nasty disease called cancer. So again, if you get a qualifying brake job at Lee's Tire Company at any of their 3 locations, 2 of them in Columbia, 1 in Centralia, you can either get $40 back or donate $40 to breast cancer research, all during the Brakes for Breast campaign at Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com.
Let's talk numbers, because if you're a fan of stats, you'll want to hear this. Flight by Yuengling has just 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's light beer that actually brings some game day flavor. Whether you're at the tailgate or watching from the couch, Flight delivers that crisp, refreshing taste without the extra baggage. Brewed by the oldest brewery in America, so you know it's legit. Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer. DG Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
At Hearing Aid Consultants, we are growing, and I couldn't be more excited. As a local family-owned business, our next hearing instrument specialist needed to be family too. I'm pleased to introduce you to my daughter-in-law, Lori.
Thanks, Kim. It's exciting to be part of the Hearing Aid Consultants family, and I can't wait to help individuals on their hearing journey.
Come see us in Jefferson City. Hearing Aid Consultants in Allmake Repair Lab. We are here for you today so you can hear tomorrow. HearingAidConsultants.com.
Everyone has their go-to game day outfit. Maybe it's a comfy black and gold hoodie or that old hat you wear because it still hasn't been to a losing game. Hi, this is Sophie Cunningham, and if you really want to stand out on game day, talk to the team at Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia. Rock your favorite team's colors with a beautifully designed, one-of-a-kind custom piece of jewelry from Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia, our hometown jeweler. Mizzbetz.
These beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
You could be right in the middle of celebrating a big win, and all of a sudden, bang, you've got ants on the counter or mice in the garage. Hi, I'm Mike Kelly. As someone who's called buzzer beaters and game winners for 3 decades, I think the best call that you can make is to Steve's Pest Control. I'm on the road a lot during the season, which is why I've signed up for Steve's 5-star pest control program. It's comforting to know that even when I'm not home, Steve's Pest Control is protecting my house from termites and other pests. Plus, the 5-star program keeps the pests at bay, controlling and eliminating them before they have a chance to enter your home. Scheduling is incredibly easy. You don't even have to be home. And if a pest problem pops up at any time, Steve's will perform a retreat for no additional charge. Call Steve's Pest Control today and ask about their 5-star pest control program so you can kick back, relax, and enjoy the game.
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
Tired of calling Andy and Brendan? So are their wives. Then shoot them a text right now. 573-875-KTGR and become part of the Big Show.
So Matt Zollers, the guy, how will the Mizzou offense look as a result? With Beau Pribula still sidelined, 573-875-KTGR. Leave us a comment on our YouTube channel or on Facebook and let us know what you think. Yeah, Brendan.
I'm just dreaming it up. So
yeah.
A&M went to Arkansas, gave up 42 points.
Okay.
They gave up less to LSU, but LSU stinks. We know that. We know they're not very good.
Well, they're better now because they don't have Brian Kelly, but yes.
That's true. Accurate. Notre Dame scored 40 on A&M. A&M did win that game also, but I'm just saying, like, teams there have been a couple of examples of quality offenses.
That's fair.
Piercing through the facade of not a facade to say they're not a good defense, but like I look at the teams that got stopped by them pretty easily. Auburn, well, we know Auburn's offense isn't very good. They scored 10. Florida scored 17. Again, pretty aware of what we get from those guys. LSU did put up 25 at home, but it was an ugly game. It got Brian Kelly fired. UTSA, they put up 42 on A&M back in August, and Utah State still scored 22. So I'm just saying, like, there's a realm in which if I'm just transitive propertiesing all of those scores, Mizzou scores like 27 to 30 points in this game. So
yeah, I mean,
give it you have a guess?
So they've been better defensively than maybe those earlier games. Yeah, like between
Arkansas. Arkansas was like 2 weeks ago. That was recent.
Sure. I remember Bill Connolly talking to us about it and saying, like, there was just a mindset change, I think, from Mike Elko. Like, man, we got to stop playing these track meets. Let's
it worked for LSU
a little bit.
They look good. If you watch that game as well, they look good against LSU. Do you have a guess on the point spread? I don't think we've got one yet because it's still a week away.
I would think A&M still would be a healthy favorite. I'd say between 7.5 and 9 points would be my guess.
I was going to say, from a betting perspective, I hope it's on the higher end. From a perspective of like, let Vegas give me a little bit more belief that Mizzou's got a real chance in this game. I'd love to see 6.5 is what I would like to see to indicate like, okay, maybe all right, they like Missouri enough that they won't even make them a touchdown favorite against us. Okay. So we'll see. 6.5, 7.5. That's my guess.
What do you think of the comment on our Facebook page from Daniel? Wildcat. with Coleman.
Yeah.
Early over-under, 1.5 snaps for Kevin Coleman behind center in the Wildcat.
For the rest of the year?
No, for this game coming up against A&M.
Probably under, but they could do it once. I bet you if they don't run the Wildcat, I bet they run some more of those jet sweeps, though. There was a couple of those that worked out okay in the Vandy game. But you got to be careful, too. Like A&M, really athletic defensively, they'll track you down in the backfield. You got to not telegraph that. And that's an ask, I think, of a freshman quarterback, because part of what always made Brady Cook so good on the fake pitch was that he sold that pitch every time.
Oh, yeah.
Like you thought he might pitch it, even though we knew he was not going to pitch it hardly ever, if at all.
Yeah.
And so Beau, I don't think quite got to that level of acting skills to really sell it quite that way. And I don't know with Matt Zollers if you're always going to be able to. We'll see. I mean, we're going to get to find out, Andy, but it's an idea, Daniel. It's definitely an idea. Kirby, I think, simultaneously has to think outside the box a little bit on some of the ways that they could, get the most out of their offense with a freshman quarterback now who doesn't have a lot of experience. But also don't get too creative and start looking like a sideshow with this offense where, again, you got to make sure what you're executing in your kind of base version of yourself is solid, I think, before you get too much into the trickery. But look, this is an opportunity for Kirby Moore to put his best foot forward. I hope to heck it happens, because I don't think they can win without him really having a strong game against the Aggies.
So we'll see what it looks like for Mizzou. Call or text us at 573-875-KTGR. So we're still a week and a half away from the next Mizzou football game. In the meantime, well, let's talk about that exhibition game last night from Mizzou women's
Maryville.
basketball.
You keep saying Maryville. I think you mean Maryland.
No.
They're like a Big Ten program?
No, I mean Maryville out of the St. Louis area, for where you are from. You might be familiar.
I am familiar.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Kudos to Maryville, man. Like kudos
to Maryville, indeed.
Yeah, like the D2 school, they come in and it's an exhibition for them too. They're trying to figure out about their team, but like the common thing that they can get behind is like, hey, let's take our shot. Let's see what we look like against the big time institution in our state.
You're right.
Like, all that.
You're right.
Yeah.
Like, credit to Maryville. This is a problem. I'm going to read you a quote from I saw this on Eli Hoff's Twitter account on his story, his game story after this one. This is a quote from the Maryville head coach. We realized, hey, we can beat these guys. They're not better than us. They have a different league, different name, but we can play right there with them. That's bad.
Okay,
that's a concern.
But I'm like, are you saying
because
that
it's not false?
Because it's I mean, sure, they lost the game. It's a game that ultimately does not count, and
Andy,
you shouldn't be.
Stop.
No, but I'm not saying it should be a good thing. Like, I'm not trying to.
I will not let you put lipstick on the pig of a loss to Maryville in an exhibition.
It's not a great look.
That's bad.
It's what you want to avoid.
And for their coach to go, hey, they're not better than us. Their jerseys are just fancier.
Well, but that's the type of thing you tell your team is like, they're not better than us.
But what if he's right?
Well, they proved it. Like that's
or she. I don't know if it's a man or woman.
Whatever it was. Like they motivated their group enough to go and win that game, and Mizzou was clearly not as interested in putting all of that together and having that type of level of competitiveness. I will play the sound from Kelly Harper from last night. This was from Natalie Jones, sports director for ABC 17. The way that she kind of characterized it right afterwards, kind of in two parts here, the way that it was answered. But here's the first part when asked about how it kind of played out in her mind.
I'm challenging our players' competitiveness right now. You know, they're a team that a group of players that love them dearly. I do. I love them dearly. And, you know, they want it to be packaged easy for them to do. They want to check off the box. They want to have a to-do list. Hey, this is that's not how this game is played, right? You go out on the basketball court and you got to draw a line in the sand sometimes. And I think that is where they've got to be okay with that. It's not a to-do list. It is a go out there and you just have to figure it out sometimes. And there's not an easy way to do that sometimes. And that's where I think our growth will be. And that's handling the rigors of the season for sure.
And so there's that part of it. There's also this part, which I think is also pretty notable.
My last year at Missouri State, to be exact, we played a D2 team and we lost. And would you believe that our team ended up going to the Sweet 16 that year? So, I think it's never fun. I don't want to draw it up this way. That's not fun at all. But I will tell you, it'll grab their attention better than anything else. There's no doubt about that. They don't want to lose. So, hopefully it'll make our message our message now is in bold type instead of just me saying it, right? They can see it very clearly now.
Okay. That does not mean that Mizzou is going to be a Sweet 16 team. Let's get that clear. But
it's nice anecdotal evidence to have.
You know what?
I feel warm and fuzzy.
It's an exhibition game. That's my takeaway from it. Look, here's what happened. They went 3 of 30 from beyond the arc, Brendan.
Mm-hmm.
That's 10%. It's not great. It's also
very bad.
It's also it's awful. It's also a number that you can't expect to be there every single game.
I think that's accurate as well. And you're probably just like chucking up threes at a point because you're like, hey guys, we might be about to lose to Maryville. We got to shoot our way back into this.
Yeah, something like
which
that.
is not probably help. You know, if they abandon their principles to just try to chuck threes, that's probably not the game plan going into a game. I'm intrigued by some of those comments from Coach Harper, though, about, they kind of want it to be this way, packaged thusly, and we kind of have been trying to tell him it's not really how it's always going to go, and maybe they'll believe us now because they saw what it looks like kind of doing it their way. I don't know. It's obviously very, very early in her tenure, and you build this roster and put together your team, and then you have to kind of wade into the waters to see what you're made of. And she sounded very confident in knowing that, like, this was maybe something that, like, I haven't been watching their practices, right? I don't indicate in at least what those quotes say to me is like, was she stunned that this happened? Maybe not. Based on, like, I don't know. Is it one of those things where, like, she kind of needed her team to coalesce around something and realize that, hey, we're not quite where we need to be yet to accomplish our goals, and we had to find out a little bit the hard way on that, and then the response, I think, will be everything, obviously.
Yeah, if 4 or 5 returners on this team, it is as new look as you can expect it to be for a brand new head coach to come in and have the transfer portal available to her and try to put together a roster that can be competitive in the league that they're in. And sometimes there are some major kinks that need to be worked out. Now, again, not trying to overly sugarcoat what Mizzou put together, that you should still have the talent level to be able to beat a team like Maryville, even when they play above their heads and
they can play their A
plays.
game. And you can play your D+ game, and you should still
Like you can look at individually what happened last night. Like James giving us a text here, 573-875-KTGR. He was at the game last night. He was really impressed by Jordana Reisma, who's one of their transfers. Slaughter played well. Other than that, Coach Harper has a lot of work to do. Like, and I think we can acknowledge that too, is that it wasn't going to be a quick fix for this particular program. They had gone to some pretty new lows. So now you have to try and build up from that. But if you get a kick in the butt like this one, at least that's the hope. I'm sure from Kelly Harper's perspective on it, that for each and every bye game that Mizzou has left, like just leave no doubt, just go out there and do not let your foot off the gas pedal at all. Find the most efficient shot. Find the players that are continuing to be efficient. Don't get away from them. There was maybe there was still a little bit of, okay, in this exhibition game, let's see what kind of rotations we can build. This is where the rubber meets the road, and you have to start to put together some strong performances to get ready for the games that you'll have very soon. It'll be here before we know it. That will ultimately define how you do here.
Yeah, looks like Central Arkansas on Monday. Is that the official opener?
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, that's here on Monday night. Yep.
And they play Tulane on Thursday.
I believe that's on the road.
Be a road game.
Yeah.
Devlin Fieldhouse. Yeah, that is the home for Tulane, so that's a true road game. Arkansas State. They play Kansas, Southern Illinois, Troy. Like, most of these are, Kansas, obviously, power program. That's in Kansas City. That game will be played. Otherwise, it's your expectation, I think, would be to win them all. But again, it's hard. It's hard to figure exactly what we're going to get based on last night. But if last night can be that maybe Coach Kelly Harper recognized a little bit, hey, we're maybe not having the message seep in just yet of what it's going to take to achieve our goals, and then they had to kind of get punched in the mouth to realize it. I guess getting punched in the mouth in a game that doesn't count. There are worse things, but no, I consider it to be very alarming that they lost to a D2. I don't think that's controversial. But I'll watch and see what they do for the next one, obviously.
Yeah, they get a chance to show everyone that it was the anomaly and not a sign of things to come.
Yep,
and so
that's perfectly fair.
If they're able to do that, then we'll look back and laugh like, oh, remember when lost to Maryville? That was weird, man. Look where they are now. That's the hope that you want for Mizzou women's basketball.
That is the hope, and time will tell whether that is a realistic hope.
We will plan to talk to Kelly Harper tomorrow here on this show. It should be interesting to at least get more perspective on how she felt about that game.
It will be.
Yeah.
Earnestly, it will be. In hearing those quotes away from this, or like I said, that she was, that things are in shambles. Like that was, it's just talking, and so the playing is going to matter more. But I'll be curious to kind of dig in a little more and see kind of where her head's at on what she's seeing from the team so far in the very.
It's tomorrow, which will be very fun. So we'll have both Mizzou head basketball coaches on tomorrow's show. Look forward to that. All right, under the bus coming up next. I was laughing hysterically listening to this audio from Governor of Louisiana.
This is awesome.
This is so LSU in every sense of the acronym. That's next.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Billy Jones. This is live local Sports Center is with Lee's Tire Company. That's rounded rubber. Lee sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com today on the SEC Coaches Teleconference. So head coach Eli Drinkwitz giving a couple of injury updates. He did confirm that it is an ankle injury for Beau Pribula, and he will be week to week the rest of the season. Matt Zollers will be the starter until Pribula comes back. Coach Drinkwitz also confirmed that Brett Brown will be the backup should he be needed. Drinkwitz mentioned that he's been adamant about mapping the future of our program. He just needs a roster move today as they re-sign defensive tackle Mike Pennell. This will be his third stint with the Chiefs. Make room. They did release defensive tackle Jonah Briggs. Missouri loses yesterday in a scrimmage to Maryville 90-84. 17 Storm Track forecast with Steve's Pest Control. The fall invasion is here. Call Steve of the Pros at Steve's Pest Control today to help stop the fall pest from invading your home. Call or go online to stevespestcontrol.com.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking slowly clearing clouds as we drop down into the upper 30s tonight. Tomorrow, we'll see lighter winds with more sunshine, temperatures making it back up into the mid to upper 50s. Getting chilly by tomorrow night with a few more clouds rolling back in. We'll see lows falling into the mid to upper 30s. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Did you miss the Mizzou Play of the Week?
In motion, Coleman to the left. Zollers wants to throw, throws it underneath, sliding, scored in the opener against Central Arkansas, and on a right-to-left cross, sliding grab in the end zone on a perfectly thrown ball by Matty Zollers.
The Mizzou Play of the Week is powered by Yingling. Your home for Mizzou football is KTGR.
Columbia's best Black Friday gun sale is at Minutemen Defense. November 18th through the 29th, everything except ammo is on sale. Big giveaways November 28th and 29th, including merch, ammo bundles, and Cerakote packages. Don't miss Friday and Saturday specials, plus tiered savings on S-Tac gear. Shop their website now through Black Friday and use the code RADIO at checkout for a special Black Friday discount on your purchase. Visit MinutemenDefenseLLC.com. Minutemen Defense off I-70 in Rangeline.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Free-for-all RV Road Warriors, your best blast of Branson just turned into a bad day bummer. You ran out of gas, blew a tire, killed your battery, or sitting sideways in a ditch, and managed to lock yourselves out. Ouch. Hey, it could happen. And for the save, you call I-70 tires, batteries, locks, winching, you name it. When your world seems to have been wrecked, call the team they hope you never have to meet. I-70towing.com. Now serving Boonville. Winching.
Shangri-La is proud to be a part of every black and gold home game this season at the Zimmer Tiger Tailgate. Swing by our tent to play games, win prizes, and hang out with Missouri's top team of cannabis aficionados. Want to join the fun? Pick up your free Tiger Tailgate tickets at any Shangri-La location. Then come find us on game day. We'll be bringing the energy, the prizes, and the community spirit that makes Tiger football unforgettable. Shangri-La Dispensaries is paradise found. ShangriLaDispensaries.com.
Pro Designs, but better than a billboard.
Hey, this is Jimmy with Pro Designs, and maybe you've heard. We're the vehicle wrap specialist. We can wrap your walls, windows, even floors.
Go to ProDezyIGNS.com.
Come see them at their locations in Eldon or Columbia off Rangeline Street and I-70.
Pro Designs, but better than a billboard.
It was 2:30 on a Tuesday when the phone rang. Brian Ware Plumbing answered the call. It was a dismayed wife. Fresh off vacation, her and her hubby came home to a wrecked water heater. It had sprung a leak. A backside restoration guy, Josh, with 2 decades of experience, came in to restore the area and stop mold in its tracks. Another day, another job, another expert added to the team. Ho hum. Better call Brian and unplug your plumbing problems. BrianWarePlumbing.com.
Macadoodles does selection like nobody else. If you're looking for ingredients to make the perfect new drink, look no further. Why settle for boring? Macadoodles has you covered. With Columbia's widest variety of beer, wine, and spirits, you're sure to find something new and exciting when you shop with Macadoodles. Come experience the difference in selection at Macadoodles today. Macadoodles delivers world-class customer service and unmatched selection at unbeatable prices. Who does selection like
Now's the time to plan your tree pruning. Here's why. In winter, trees are dormant, which means they're less risk of disease. Plus, without all those leaves, it's way easier to see exactly what needs trimming. The educated, licensed, assured, and experienced crew at Advanced Solutions knows how to protect your trees and your wallet. but spots are filling fast. So schedule your winter pruning today at AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com.
If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the big show on KTGR.
It is not even November, and the LSU coaching search is already taking a predictable direction. The Louisiana, Jeff Landry, is that Scott Woodward, the athletic director at LSU, will not be picking the next head coach. It will be their board of supervisors. And here is a press conference from Jeff Landry with one of the more unhinged 2 minutes, at least, that I've heard in a press conference like this.
Absolutely correct. And I wanted to tell you something. This is a pattern. The guy that's here now that wrote that contract cost Texas A&M $70-something million. Right now, we got a $53 million liability. We are not doing that again. And you know what? I believe that we're going to find a great coach. I mean, maybe we'll let President Trump pick it. He loves winners. You know? I'm not going to be picking the next coach. But I can promise you, we're going to pick a successful, and we're going to make sure that he's compensated properly, and we're going to put metrics on it, because I'm tired of rewarding failure in this country and then leaving the taxpayers on the foot, to foot the bill. So, yeah, I absolutely. Who's that? No. I can tell you right now, Scott Woodward is not selecting the next coach. Hell, I'll let Donald Trump select it before I let him do it. I don't know, but the Board of Supervisors is going to come up with a committee, and they're going to go find us a coach.
It goes on, he rants about NIL and agents and guardrails for the NCAA, the normal stuff. Brendan, you're holding up 2 fingers. Why?
I counted twice, because the first time you say, well, let Trump pick the coach, it's kind of funny. The second time you say it makes me think you might actually do it. So that was it's like, haha, really cool. Yeah. Hey, I might let Trump. Oh, okay. If you're sure. And I guess he can say all that. Like, it's a state university. Is this, he's got jurisdiction over this?
Here's my 2 questions.
Really?
Here's my 2 main questions from this. First off, number 1, is state money paying for Brian Kelly's buyout? Because that clip there seemed to indicate that it is.
Toward the end, he said, if billionaires want to pay these buyouts, that's one thing. Because if state money is paying for this buyout, we're not going to have a pleasant conversation. So, I think it's very politicized and kind of playing it up by the governor. He probably knows, and it's been reported that there's one big-time booster who's unknown, not a public figure, because everybody started joking oh, man, a Caniac combo is about to cost $50.
Yeah.
Because the Raising Cane's guy is going to pay the buyout. I don't think that's what it was, but I believe there's some people stepping up to kind of front it. The idea that you could even float that it could be public money and not the athletic fund at a minimum, and then at a maximum, clearly maybe there's just one dude with $20 billion that he's going to say, I'll throw it at, or $20 million to throw toward it, is crazy. Yeah. But I'm asking, he can say all this and it's true, right? Is the governor in charge of this conversation? I don't know.
I don't know who's in charge. And
it's a state university, so I guess maybe he's got some jurisdiction. They'll listen to him.
Very clearly, Scott Woodward is not in charge, and at that point, you should just go ahead and fire him.
He shouldn't be the AD.
Right, he shouldn't be here anymore.
That was Callum McAndrew had an amazing gif. You know the show I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson?
Oh, yeah.
There's a courtroom scene where he's his character is being discussed in the evidence, and he keeps going, what the hell? Why am I being brought into this? That had to be Scott Woodward during this press conference because the governor of the state went so far out of his way. And Billy points out they don't have a president of the university.
That's
so
true.
He says it's going to be the board that's going to, whatever they call their board, that's going to pick us a good coach. Hilarity. And I'm telling you, not one of it is surprising.
No.
For Louisiana to have something like this going on. I love every bit of it.
Under the bus.
Yeah, Scott Woodward definitely under after all of that. Guess what? The Chiefs brought Mike Pennell back. I mean, as cool as the other side of the pillow on that prediction, I suppose. It was great to see. There was a clip from practice, I believe, from Nate Taylor. Like Mike Pennell and Chris Jones were just like joshing around with each other during practice today. And it's like he never left and everything like that. Taylor's oldest time. Chiefs will bring back the gang so they can make the Super Bowl run. It'll happen again.
Speaking of the Chiefs, do you see what Breece Hall tweeted about an hour and a half ago?
No.
It's just like a gif of a guy. He's not wearing a shirt. Looks like he's eating almonds, but he's attentively looking into the camera, implying what? I guess we'll see. But Breece Hall is feeding the beast, as they say.
Interesting. Well, I guess we'll maybe find out what he means at some point. Who knows? In the meantime, SEC tiers, we update them next. Where will Brendan put Vanderbilt? That's next.
From telling bedtime stories and doing late night homework, to driving them to college and sliding them a few $100 when they get there, parents will do just about anything for their children. At Boone Hospital Wound Healing Center, people come from miles around knowing that their staff of doctors, nurses, and therapists will do anything to help heal their wounds. Wait, don't amputate. Visit boone.health to learn more.
Real healing starts here. Boone Hospital, Wound Healing Center.
Buckeye is fired up for Tiger football as Mizzou takes on Texas A&M November 8th. Gear up for unbeatable deals on everything you need for tailgating, fall essentials, and all things farm, ranch, auto, home, and pet. Join the Buckeye Buyers Club for even more savings and keep the winning spirit going all season long. Buckeye, your farm, ranch, auto, home, pet, and outdoor living destination. Join us live from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 3300 Paris Road, Columbia. Go Tigers!
From Branson Landing to the Capitol Dome, Union Station to the Tigers' home. Big old service is Missouri's best. Our trusted team outpaces the rest.
Get our healthy car special for only $39.95 from your Missouri-owned and operated Big O.
Show me state coverage wherever you go. We've got you covered at Big O.
Hi, I'm Tristan Colon, Mizzou grad and 6-year NFL veteran.
I'm Charlie Stickland.
And I'm Sarah Stickland McDonald of the Stickland & Stickland Injury Law Firm.
In football, home field advantage can make all the difference.
The same is true when choosing your injury lawyer.
We're locals. We know the courts, we know the towns, we know the people.
Just as I protect my team on the field.
Our family will protect your family.
When sorry just doesn't cut it.
Push back with Stickland & Stickland.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station. KTGR.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Major League Baseball spotlight on Los Angeles for a final time this October as the Dodgers and Blue Jays meet in a critical Game 5 of the World Series. Toronto grabbed home field advantage back with the series-tying 6-2 victory over the Dodgers in Game 4. Rookie Trace Yasavage on the hill for the Jays against LA's Blake Snell tonight. ESPN MLB analyst Eduardo Perez.
Blake Snell has to have his changeup going. That's the pitch that he has dominated with during the postseason. We didn't see that in Game 1. We got a lot of foul balls from the Toronto Blue Jays. 22 foul balls total against Blake Snell. If they continue to foul those pitches off, that's going to be a little bit tough for the LA Dodgers. But the Savage pitching on the road, haven't seen that yet. And we're going to find out in the postseason if he can do it in LA.
ESPN radio coverage in 1 hour. Ahead of next week's NFL trade deadline, Eagles got some much-needed cornerback help. They acquired Michael Carter II from the Jets for receiver John Mechie III. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson set to return from a hamstring injury tomorrow against the Dolphins. Chiefs leading rusher Isaiah Pacheco with a sprained knee ligament out Sunday against the Bills.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Keep your career moving forward with growth opportunities, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces. Go to careers.progressive.com and apply today.
From Faro. 15 to the 10, to the house. Push. Back to the wall. And it's got her. And Arrowhead. Touchdown. Kansas
Kansas City to your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is the Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
Back here for the second hour of the Big Show. Call or text us at 573-875-KTGR if you want to send in your SEC football tiers after the 9th week of college football. And, well, where's Mizzou? Where's Vandy after all of that? We'll also talk to Brian Smith, Mizzou wrestling coach, coming up at 5:45. That season starts this Sunday. Tigers hosting 3 teams from the state of Missouri as well at the Hearn Center for multiple duels in a row. So we'll see Tiger-style wrestling in action for the first time there. Brian Smith chats about his team coming up at 5:45. Call or text us at 573-875-KTGR. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
Well, after a tough weekend for Mizzou football and all of the speculation up in the air about the team and the future of the coach and everything else, we did get a little bit of good news today from Eli Drinkwitz on the SEC teleconference. He labeled Brett Norfleet as day-to-day with a separated shoulder. I'm calling that a win. I don't know if it means he'll be able to play against Texas A&M on November the 8th, but I guess it's better than it could have been. No real update on Beau Pribula. Personally, I don't really think we'll see him for the rest of the regular season. So that means 4 games of Matt Zollers to see what he's made of. I'm putting a lot of emotion on this potential Texas A&M upset win. I really hope they find it in them to get it, and maybe the season's back on track after that one. But we still got a lot of time to kind of lead up to it. So we'll keep talking about all things Mizzou and where will they land in our SEC football tiers coming up.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
Mizzou women's basketball drops an exhibition contest last night, not to Maryland, but to Maryville, 90-84 in overtime. I did think Kelly Harper's comments after the game indicated that, she kind of felt as though this might be a bump in the road that her team kind of needed to witness, needed to be punched in the mouth a little bit to really get them on track the way they want to be to achieve their goals. It's very bad. I am going to, though, watch the future games and allow for this to be the anomaly, but time is going to tell.
Number 3.
Chiefs news, Isaiah Pacheco did not practice today with the MCL injury he is dealing with. That's not a surprise. Josh Simmons still out with personal reasons at left tackle. Right guard Trey Smith was limited, at least in Wednesday's practice. I do not think that we will see Pacheco against the Bills on Sunday. They did say on the SportsCenter update that he's out. I don't know if that's official, but I would be surprised if we see him. So Kareem Hunt, Rashard Smith, hey, maybe you get Breece Hall up and going by then. Who knows?
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
Blues dealing with an injury to Jake Neighbors. He's now on IR and is going to be out for the foreseeable future. The team did call up Dalibor Dvorsky, and he's expected, according to Coach Jim Montgomery, to be in the lineup Thursday. Sounds like the Blues are kind of getting desperate, and they should be. They looked terrible again last night, 5-2 losers to the Red Wings at home after getting on the board first in the game. That's not what you wanted to see.
Number 5.
What is the 5 fingers? Say to the face. Slap.
I got to say, I got it wrong. I thought the Dodgers would roll in Game 4 with Shohei on the mound after the 18-inning marathon in Game 3 on Monday night. But the Blue Jays came to play, and they're giving us baseball on Halloween at a minimum. 6-2 winners last night. Game 5 tonight, you Savage v. Snell, and Magic Johnson has weighed in very predictably on this one.
That's the Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
Oh, no, what happened?
Have you heard the Magic Johnson tweet? Because always he's got very good insights on sporting events at large, especially baseball. And his thoughts on Game 5 are as follows. Maybe you can use this insight in a jurisdiction of legality, perhaps if it gives you a lean one direction or the other on the way this series could go. Magic Johnson tweeting out, with the series being 2-2, Game 5 is very important. Whichever team wins takes control of the series. Back to you in the studio. That's what Magic had to say about Game 5. Yep. So if you can use this to your advantage in a jurisdiction of legality, you might consider it,
So whoever, I would guess that means that Magic is telling you to,
I don't know what he's telling us.
After Game 5, you should go to you should find a river
I don't think so.
And
because
bet
guess
on
what?
that team to win the World Series.
Guess what? The
Wow.
series odds will probably reflect that as well.
They will.
Based on the winner of Game 5. They'll take control of the series. So I wasn't going to tune in. I really wasn't going to watch. But now,
you know what?
Magic told me it's important. So I will.
That just tells me Blue Jays in 6.
He's a goofball, man. I love his tweets. He's funny.
Oh, man. I just don't know if it's good luck to have that type of tweet out there in Dodger land. I don't know how they feel about that. I wonder how they feel about him even tweeting at all about Dodger Matters as a part owner of the team.
It's a bit at this point. I feel like he's got to be in on the joke of his very just uninformative tweets. But he wants to be involved in the action. He wants to be talking about things as well. So, no harm in that.
He can do whatever he wants. That's for sure. I'm not saying he doesn't need to, but there's a lot of fishiness with that. I don't know.
Why fishiness?
I just he's obviously never going to be removed as an owner. There would never be that type unless he wants to be. It's just, I don't know how Dodger fans might feel about him owning the team at this point. Maybe they don't care.
Why? I wasn't going that angle with the fishiness. I just thought we all know Magic Johnson sends very inane tweets that we get no information
and usually
from.
They don't mean anything.
No, they all mean nothing. It's funny. Yeah. No, I don't think there's any. And isn't he just part of an ownership group that's it's the Guggenheim and they've got all the money in the world? I don't think there's anything
3 or 4%, whatever. I don't know. But
they did have him on the Fox broadcast though. He was at the desk with all those guys. So
on Fox, he can be on ESPN, he can be on whatever he wants.
It's a little one-sided there. But I mean, Tom Brady gets to do what he wants too. So I think Magic Johnson is a character of that ilk, so he can kind of do what he wants.
Magic Johnson's not in the dugout, though. The equivalent of Tom Brady being in the dugout was what we showed on the broadcast.
Magic Johnson would also add no informative edge to the baseball team if he were in the dugout.
Very true.
But anyway,
insights of who's going to take control of the series, depending on what
whoever
happens
wins Game 5.
Hey,
that's the answer.
You heard it here first, here on the Big Show, KTGR. All right, let's update our SEC football tiers. After week 9.
This is going to be painful. I don't want anything to do with this. And so I'm going to be decisive. I haven't looked at them yet. I haven't looked back at last week's yet. I'm going to try to be decisive, and I will not apologize for anything that I may say.
Wow. Okay.
I just have to, because I've been mourning still what we saw. And I just having a hard time with it. So we'll try to bounce back here. I put South Carolina at the bottom tier last week. I guess I did.
Yeah, I don't know. They will not be in my bottom tier. I don't know how much I'm going to even do with the bottom 3 tiers that I have.
Yeah, because let's parse it together. You want to start at the bottom?
Yeah, let's
figure out what we're doing here.
So the thing is, Kentucky remains there, obviously. That they don't move. I don't think anybody from the 6th tier should move at all either. All of them, with the exception of Florida, who was on bye. So there's no real reason to move them anywhere.
Right.
But Mississippi State and South Carolina were competitive in home games against
good teams.
Good teams.
Solid
Texas
teams.
is obviously not up to snuff from what we think it is, but they're
Not
surviving.
a great team,
and
but a good team.
But they're still alive, right? They're still kicking. I don't think we expect them to do that for the rest of the year, but they're a good team. And so no one should move from that tier based on how they did. What I want to do, though, Auburn and Arkansas played each other, and I had them on the same tier just above, and Auburn won that game.
Yeah,
and
they did.
I'm going to move Arkansas down, but not even to the 6th tier. I'm going to move them to the same tier as Kentucky.
Oh, so they just go directly to the basement?
Yeah. Because at this point,
do not pass go, do not collect $200.
Yeah, because I mean,
you're gone.
Same number of wins for both of those teams. Kentucky's 2-5, Arkansas is now 2-6, and Arkansas's got to win out now to make a bowl.
That was a bad one for Arkansas because Auburn had been losing all their conference games, but to pretty good teams, and so then you play a team that's more in your level.
Yeah,
and Auburn dunks on them. I mean, it's not great. That's a tough look for Arkansas.
That was a key win for bowl eligibility for both teams, and the fact that Arkansas couldn't do it, it almost put an exclamation point on the fact that they have not been able to get it done in their earlier games. Like they lost to Ole Miss, Tennessee, and A&M by a combined 10 points, and then you lose by 9 to Auburn. Like it just doesn't add up.
That's a bad one.
So yeah,
but they lost by 3 to A&M. Like they've had some of those close misses, some of those near misses that are similar to Mississippi State. It's similar to South Carolina in the loss to Alabama. South Carolina should have won that game. I hate to move them up by virtue of an almost, but I think they match more closely with like the Arkansas and the Mississippi States. So maybe I will take South Carolina out of the basement. Kentucky should have put up a better fight against Tennessee, and so they do not get to leave the basement for me.
Okay.
They're going to stay there.
I think, yeah, that's a fair place to go. I'll say, I'm trying to think of, should I put anybody on the Auburn tier? Should I put LSU there? Ooh.
Yeah, that's...
they're not the same team. Well, here's the thing.
They got 3 losses now?
Yeah, LSU's 5-3. Athletes,
that's certainly better
everywhere.
than Auburn,
They're
though.
a better team.
Who's Auburn beat where you're like, all right, they got the win?
No, nobody.
Tough one.
Nobody.
And I would at least say for LSU, they beat, and again, not that impressive, but they beat Clemson, right? They beat Florida. So there's a couple in there for LSU to differentiate, I think, from Auburn.
Below them. Look, I think it's actually, no, I'll do it. I'll put them on the same tier because it is kind of similar to Auburn. Like earlier in the year, I don't know how great Baylor is, but like you go on the road and you beat them. Like you do that. That still counts. Very tough start to conference play where you're playing 4 straight teams in the top 16 and you lose all 4 and you're right there in all of them. And then you finally get over the hump in a road game against Arkansas. Like they've got the path now to make a bowl game, even though they've got Vanderbilt and Alabama still on the schedule. I think I will put them on the same tier, and also to the point where, like, you know, if they fire Hugh Freeze, I don't know if that happens in the middle of the season or at the end. And I don't even know at this point if it's even the right call now.
They could go on a little bit of a roll, and maybe he keeps his gig.
Yeah, something like that. Like you're playing for pride. Like both of those teams, like the Tigers playing for pride is the name of this tier. LSU and Auburn. Tigers playing for pride.
Not Missouri
points.
No Missouri yet.
No, not yet. Those Tigers still have maybe an outside shot.
Auburn hosts Kentucky and Mercer. Auburn should make a bowl pretty easily, and then you can figure out if you can get to a 7th win at Vandy or hosting Alabama, which you'll be an underdog in both of those. But that would be a respectable enough 7-5 where if I'm Auburn in this coaching cycle, I might just roll with Hugh Freeze for another year, as crazy as that sounds, but we'll see if they can accomplish that.
And again, in the case of LSU, they have not played up to expectations this year, but place that firmly at the feet of Brian Kelly. Now that he is
and
gone,
they fired the OC too. They got rid of the offensive coordinator, which to have Nussmeier and to have some of those names on offense that they just haven't been productive, I think that's probably right. More so than Blake Baker, I would say that offense should have been a lot better this year.
And you get a bye now before you play Alabama. And look, it's not – I don't think they can play spoiler because they can beat Alabama and Alabama can still be fine. They have Arkansas, Western Kentucky, and then they finish with Oklahoma. And by that time, as they play Oklahoma might be out of it by then. So I don't think spoiler is the right word, but they're going to be squirrely against those top teams going on the road.
If I may, I mean, LSU could still, if they beat Bama, that's their toughest remaining game. There's still 9-3 available to them. I don't think that means playoff or anything, but that's still a noteworthy, solid season. Disappointing because of preseason expectations for sure. But I don't know what to do with LSU yet. I don't want to keep going bottom up though. I want to take it from the top now and see where I meet some of these teams in the middle. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
A&M, great work on the road. LSU at night, got a coach fired. They stay in my top tier. Bama, you scare me a little bit, Bama, but you've had some really impressive wins, and you got it done. Bottom lined it. So Bama stays in the top tier. Georgia does as well. I believe they were on bye this week ahead of the cocktail party.
Yeah.
So that was my top tier last week. It's going to remain my top tier right now. You had only Bama last week in your top tier.
I did.
Any interest in amending that?
A&M can join them. They can join them in that tier. Nobody else can, though. I'm going to keep Georgia
because Georgia didn't play. Now, Ole Miss, let me ask you about Ole Miss. Ole Miss was a tier 2 team for you last week, and they win at Oklahoma. They're handily top 7 or 8 in the country.
Yeah. No, I get that part of it. I still, if I have to put them up against either Bama or A&M, I still don't think they are the same caliber of team. And at this point, when you're this high in the tiers, sometimes there's no better place that you can't really go up anymore because there are teams above you that I think are still clearly better. And so, it's unfortunate that Ole Miss, I'm not crediting them for getting a huge road win at Oklahoma, which is very clearly a tough place to go and play, but you're already on the second tier. And I just don't know if even that is enough to prove that you're a first tier level team to the point of Bama and A&M with the way that they played. So no, I'm going to keep Ole Miss with Georgia in my second tier.
Okay. And I think that's probably fair. And I don't know about scenarios of SEC championship, what teams need to do. I still think it's a little bit early for that. But Bama and A&M, that'd be a heck of a game if that ended up being the case down in Atlanta. All right, so you've got Georgia tier 2. You're going to stick with Ole Miss in tier 2 as well. A&M moved up, so those 4 are the only 2 teams those are the 4 teams you had amongst your top 2 tiers last week. Tier 3 for you last week was Mizzou, Vandy, and Oklahoma. Obviously, 2 of the 3 lost. The other one beat our Tigers. Does Vandy get tier 2 status for you?
Yes.
Okay, because I already had them in tier 2.
Yeah,
so I'm
they're there.
Sure, I won't move them.
They've got an inside track to it now, and if they don't get it, it actually would be more surprising at this point.
Yeah, I'm so mad about the legalization of sports gambling in Missouri because I was on it at plus 1,200 and couldn't bet it.
Yeah.
Alas.
At Texas will not be easy. Let's acknowledge that.
They're plus 2.5 right now, by the way.
Vandy is
slight underdog. Yep.
Okay.
I'll be right back to betting Vandy.
Coin flip. Basically with that type of spread. So, still have to take care of their business, but I think right now they're certainly playing better than Texas. Texas has more talent, but look, no Arch Manning potentially. I don't know what the
Texas should protocol. Texas should watch the game film from the Missouri game and figure out exactly how Missouri made Diego Pavia irrelevant. He was a nobody out there.
And that Texas defense is what they rely upon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is going to be a challenge for sure.
I might pick Texas, actually, the more I think about it. Texas has the personnel to implement and say, what did Missouri do well to slow down Pavia as the only team that's really been able to do it?
Yeah.
Bama did as well to an extent, but yeah, that's going to be interesting for sure.
All right. And then that's my second tier. The third tier essentially is the 4 teams that will be remaining after that: Mizzou, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Texas. Which all 4 in those it is no more margin for error. Got to win everything left on your schedule if you want to have a shot at the college football playoff. So and put them in any order. 2 of them play each other this week. Tennessee plays OU, and so it's essentially an elimination game for that. And we'll see how Texas is able to withstand their game against Vanderbilt, but they have to win it in order to continue to be relevant.
Yeah, and Texas, see, for me, I'm gonna remember I said I'm not making any apologies. I'm gonna put Texas and LSU in the same tier. It's not really a take based on playoff eligibility because LSU is done and Texas is not. But I think they're as good as each other. I think they're 2 teams that were preseason, thought we were going to be something, and they're both not that guy.
It's fair.
So that's where I'm, and Auburn's kind of in its own tier for me, below that LSU-Texas tier. With tier 3, I had Tennessee, Oklahoma, LSU last week. So what I've done is dropped LSU to join Texas in tier 4, which I had Texas as a standalone tier 4, and they did not win in a way that is deserving of moving up. Mississippi State should have beaten them. Then as the second week in a row, we're saying that about Mississippi State. Just a reminder that the Bulldogs come to Columbia on the 15th of November. Do not overlook this team because they have been in every game recently until the bitter end, other than the A&M game, really, which they still came and got a backdoor cover in that one. So, or maybe they didn't.
No,
it doesn't really make a difference. Okay, they did on that one too.
Yeah.
So they are tricky, to say the least. But I'll go Tennessee, beat Kentucky how they're supposed to. They stay tier 3 for me. Oklahoma is the one that I'm struggling with. But, I think they are about as good on par with Mizzou. And I'm not going to drop Mizzou below tier 3, so I'm not going to do it for Oklahoma. Oklahoma gets to stay in tier 3 by virtue of I was a little bit mean to them before they lost to Ole Miss, but my tiers suggested that they would. So I'm not going to update in a new reflection of that because I already had Ole Miss as being better than the Sooners. So I think that gets me all my teams, or am I missing somebody?
I'm doing the quick math.
A&M, Bama, Georgia. Tier 2 is Vandy, Ole Miss.
You're missing a team.
Florida. I'm missing Florida.
I'm missing Florida. Where do you put Florida?
Florida's kind of like Auburn. Yeah, so they were in the same tier as Auburn last week. Nice job beating Arkansas, Auburn, but really all it does is it drops Arkansas off the face of the earth, right? Like we're not going to give you too much credit for beating Arkansas, but we are going to say that it puts Auburn. I feel better about thinking that Auburn and Florida are similar, and that's the tier of like it's not going to surprise me in any game they play if they emerge the winner. Florida, Georgia. If Florida wins, I'm not going to be shocked by that. Georgia's better, but that's a game that's a rivalry game that we'll see this weekend. If Auburn wins the Iron Bowl, or if they, upset Vanderbilt on the road, I'm going to be stunned by that. In fact, I hope Vandy's like plus 6.5 because then minus 6.5 because then I'll be looking at Auburn going, this is going to be a defensive struggle, kind of like Mizzou's Vandy game was. So, yeah, I think that's fair. Auburn and Florida for me being in the same tier, which is the tier right below Texas and LSU.
There you go.
That's what I got.
Yeah. I think that's good. So you still have 7 tiers. I condensed it down to 6.
You did.
But yeah, those are our tiers. You can see them on our YouTube channel, also on Facebook if you're watching live there. But both of us put Vandy in the 2nd tier. Both of us put Mizzou in the 3rd tier, essentially the elimination tier. So we'll see.
Mizzou, Oklahoma, Tennessee, those guys are going to be the 3 that are like, oh, we wanted to be playoff caliber, but we weren't. Like, that's my fear of Mizzou being in this tier right now is like, and look, 9-3, I would end up still thinking 9-3 is a really good year if Mizzou can pick off one of Oklahoma or A&M and lose the other. I'll still actually be pretty satisfied with the year considering all the circumstances. I'm still kind of seeing the path to less than that, and I want to not see that path. So let's rock and roll. Let's get ready for A&M.
Tell us your tiers with a call or a text at 573-875-KTGR here on The Big Show. If you want to weigh in, tell us where we got things right or wrong. And in the meantime, we'll keep rolling along here on The Big Show. Brian Smith will join us at 5:45. But we'll get our thoughts in on what is now a new series, the World Series, Game 5, with the series tied at 2 between the Blue Jays and Dodgers. How do we feel about it now as we get closer to the end of the baseball season? That's next.
Follow The Big Show on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. And keep it here on your total sports station, KTGR.
Go! Sir, the bugs have taken over the entire neighborhood. They took out the Thompsons, the Joneses, and the Smiths.
I don't know how much longer we can hold on. Calm down, soldier. Reinforcements are on the way. Holy protector of pest control.
Steve's Pest Control is currently en route.
As the season changes, you may notice spiders, wasps, and mice trying to enter your home. But don't worry, the pros at Steve's Pest Control are ready for battle. Before the fall invasion attacks your property, calmly, quietly, pick up your phone and call us at Steve's Pest Control. We've been protecting businesses, homes, and neighborhoods all over Central Missouri for years, and we can protect yours too. I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control. We will eliminate your pest problem and stop the fall pest invasion. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
Are you tired of running out of space? Check out Menard Self-Storage Facility. Menard Self-Storage offers the most convenient and secure self-storage in the area. Options include features like 24/7 access, video surveillance, and on-site management. Menards has warehouse units at the best prices in the area, and your first month is free. They're going quickly, so reserve yours now at menardselfstorage.com. Unit and offer details may vary by facility.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey y'all, it's Molly from Billiards. Happy Halloween month. Did y'all know we cook all of our burgers on a flat top, just like Frankenstein's haircut? And for our friends in the spirit world, we like ghost pepper cheese. Woo! And we've got plenty of Missouri craft beers brewing in the witch's cauldron.
Boogie on down for burgers and beer. Billiards on Broadway. Yeah.
For all you mummies, let's wrap this up.
It's time to leave those regular malt beverages in the doghouse and adopt Lucky One Lemonade. Made with real vodka and real juice, Lucky One is a premium alcoholic beverage with no artificial flavors, no bubbles, and is only 100 calories. With 4 flavors, blueberry, peach, raspberry, and regular, and money from each pack sold goes to help rescue dogs find their forever home. Come taste Lucky One Lemonade at this year's Zimmer Tiger Tailgate. From backyard hangs to tailgate sips, Lucky One Lemonade is the upgrade that your cooler deserves.
On game day, every needs and every tailgate needs Kingsford charcoal and a match. Whatever lot you're in, whatever you're grilling up for your fellow Tiger tailgaters, Kingsford charcoal is the official charcoal of Missouri football. Without it, you're just standing around in a parking lot. Since 1920, Kingsford has been proud to fire up your tailgates with friends and family. Kingsford.com.
I'm Michael Agnew with API Project Fitness. At API, we're dedicated to helping you reach your fitness goals with workouts that are motivating, challenging, and effective. Our group classes are high energy and designed to maximize your time with efficient movements and smooth flow. There are real results here to find, whether you're just starting out or ready to push it to the next level. API is where hard work meets progress. Everyone needs a fitness routine. Let us be yours. Sign up today for a free trial at apiprojectfitness.com.
Your daily fix of local sports lives here. This is The Big Show on KTGR.
So, tell us what you think of our SEC football tiers. 573-875-KTGR here on The Big Show. Even though this is a bye week from Mizzou, I mean, we'll have an SEC rooting guide. I don't know if it'll mean like it tried to get the best outcome for Mizzou.
I'm not doing it from
that.
a playoff perspective anymore. I don't
It's like
think.
just, I suppose from that perspective, you just root for who you want to see actually move on.
We'll have fun with it still.
Like all that.
And
But,
frankly, looking at our tiers, I've got 5 teams in the top 2 tiers. You also have 5. We just have it switched, Andy, between who has 3 in tier 1 and 2 in tier 2. Bama, A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss, Vandy are the 5. I think those are your 5 playoff teams from the SEC, if I had to guess. Like, I think Tennessee's going to stumble.
The top 2 tiers, you think?
I think those are your 5, and I do think the SEC gets 5, but it's going to be interesting to see exactly the way that it goes.
That would mean some things breaking their way. That would be. I would have to think the easiest way to get there would be Notre Dame losing at some point, because I think the ACC is getting 2. I think the Big 12 is getting 1. I think the Big 10 is getting 6.
I don't even know if we can confidently say that the Big 12 is only getting 1. Like,
well,
it probably does.
So
but
maybe it is 3 between the ACC and the Big 12, or something like that. It
could be.
Maybe the.
I'm not thinking
place
of like
to put it.
BYU. BYU still haven't lost, have they?
No, they're undefeated.
So like them and Texas Tech, if they play each other and Tech wins and they both have 1 loss, like one loss, including a conference championship game. I don't know. Now, again, I don't know what their schedules are, so I could be speaking out of school. But yes, there are numerous things that would have to go right to get 5 from the SEC. I think when that first ranking comes out, and Billy mentions it, BYU does play Tech, so that kind of clears that up a little bit. That's going to be the same weekend as Mizzou A&M. I look at it and think it's just going to work out because the CFP committee is going to show us some stuff with these SEC teams, the way they're ranked in the first iteration. I feel like the CFP committee is going to be, the reaction publicly will be, wow, CFP really gave a good look to these SEC teams. That'll be my prediction for that, because I'm just hearkening back to the strength of schedule stuff, and how they bake it in will be interesting. But
it will be. I don't know if until we see the first ranking, I can't believe just yet that it'll actually.
So you're a skeptic on that?
I'm still a skeptic on it.
I'm leaning toward I believe him, but we're going to find out in a couple of days. So
sure,
we'll see.
It won't be a secret much longer. However, the committee feels about these teams. But we'll see what that looks like. 573-875-KTGR if you want to call or text us here. Cameron texting in. Chauncey Billups told me to lean Dodgers.
There you go. Did he tell you that
I think that's a little more
game?
meaningful than Magic Johnson telling you that.
Yeah.
The winner of Game
Chauncey
5.
Billups is apparently connected. So
of the
allegedly
World Series there. Yeah, so you're genuinely surprised that we're here, that we're getting maybe November baseball. Who knows?
I did not think the Dodgers were going to lose that game last night, and it wasn't close. I mean, Vladdy hit the early homer, and the Blue Jays were able to tack on from there. They didn't really want to give Shohei a lot of opportunities to beat him at the plate. Blue Jays are a good team, man. They're a good team, and they've acquitted themselves nicely in this series. I just thought it would be emotionally devastating to lose that 18-inning game, though, especially on the road.
Yeah, the situation, the way it sets up, it's certainly hard for both bullpens, though. Like that's the thing. It put the same type of tax on both teams when you talk about the nuts and bolts of how you get through the next few games. To have that 18-inning game in Game 3 when you don't have an off day for a couple more days, like, I get the emotional aspect of not winning it, but it does put the same amount of detriment to both teams when they're trying to dig out of the hole that they have in their bullpen. And this will be their first chance really to kind of start coming out of it. Maybe there are still some players that are unavailable based on how much they pitched in that Monday game, but you get a little more hole on both sides with the bullpen. So that's what makes this so intriguing. Bottom line, like, now I think you have to hand it off to the starters that are left. And just for the fact that the Dodgers have Blake Snell and Yamamoto lined up, it just seems that there still is an edge to their way, even though Blue Jays have guaranteed that it's coming back to Toronto eventually. So I still think that the Dodgers will eventually get this done based on how their rotation lines up. But look, like Toronto has very clearly shown that their bullpen can hold up maybe just slightly better in series like this. And like, there will be an avalanche inning almost every game from Toronto that the Dodgers have to withstand and maybe have to recover from. So their ability to do that will also be key.
Yeah, and now I'm looking forward to seeing again Trey Yesavage get an opportunity, and Blake Snell, we know what he's made of. Like, Yesavage, I just am so struck by the rise that he has had throughout the minor league system in just one short year, and now like dude's out there starting Game 5 of the World Series, and as Magic Johnson told us, this one would you call it pivotal, Andy? Because the winner of
pivotal. Yeah,
the winner takes control of the series. I've been told so. I'm just excited to see it from that standpoint. And it becomes a storyline as well. Do you just turn Shohei Ohtani into a figure that's only going to walk his way on base? Like, how do they approach him in key spots, in regular spots? Because especially last night in the first at bat that he took, everybody kind of wondered how were they going to approach that? And they did not seem to want to give him anything. Now, later in the game, as it evolves and you've got a lead, you're a little more comfortable facing him, and they were able to get him. But it's only going to take one swing from him to change the series in the other direction again. And so I'll be very curious. In a tie game again, how do you approach it that first at bat? If you're trailing, how do you approach it?
You'll throw him pitches, but you will not throw him anything to hit. Like, that's
probably
the way it goes. You won't put up the four fingers, but you will not let him tag anything. That's how I would do it. I would do it for the first at bat, no doubt. Just say, go ahead and take first. We'll deal with the rest later. We'll deal with the fallout of that. But I think this is kind of where you kind of bring it up. Savage has to set the tone early, and so maybe there is that chess match of, okay, if you want your starting pitcher to really get on a roll right away, which is going to be important in this game, then why would you tell him, hey, don't give the first batter anything to hit? You've got to start digging out of a hole right away, leading off the game with a walk. Like, would you want to put your starting pitcher in that spot? That'd be the main thing.
Yeah. And again, when it's a rookie pitcher, you probably feel differently than maybe you did last night. But it worked out well enough. I mean, the Blue Jays were able to kind of get through the early portion of the game. Vladdy hits his homer, and they did still have a deficit. I think it was 1-0 before Guerrero's homer, but they were able to overcome that, and they were on their way. So I love it. I love to see the Blue Jays win the series just because I like everybody loves a good underdog story. But in particular, I'm just glad that while you're out trick or treating or whatever, we're going to the in-laws on Friday night. And they're going to bring a TV outside. Like, I love a good sports game on Halloween, and we're going to have a World Series game to enjoy as that's going on. So I'm just excited for that.
That is going to be a lot of fun, and you can hear tonight's coverage of Game 5 of the World Series here on KTGR from ESPN Radio. Coverage will begin at 6 o'clock with first pitch just after 7. So do you think the Blue Jays get it done in Game 5 tonight? You think it happens? Yeah.
I don't. Am I allowed to just go right back to the well and double down on my wrong take from yesterday and say that?
Well, yeah, you can.
I think that probably Blake Snell has the edge over Savage, over the rookie, and he's a nice story, but probably doesn't hold up and become a World Series legend tonight. And so I'll probably take the Dodgers tonight.
I'm taking the Blue Jays solely off of the Magic Johnson tweet.
Nope. See, but like, I took that as he's like in the ownership group, but he's also like a neutral observer. He's not, but he is. His point was just like he was weighing in on the sports convo.
From one of my homerism, essentially sports phenomenons, when Ted Cruz attends an event and he tweets out that he's there, and it's usually a team involved, like in Texas.
Okay, so there's no rhyme or reason.
Like,
you just think it's like a Ted Cruz thing.
No, it's like it's a vibe thing. Like, oh, Ted Cruz tweet, he's at the game. Oh, they're gonna lose. Whatever team he's rooting for, they're gonna lose. I liken it to the Magic Johnson stuff as well. He's tweeting about it. I mean, he's obviously there, but like he's tweeting weird stuff that obviously is true, but is obviously obvious. And we're talking about it. And I think that's the reason why the Dodgers are doomed now. Call or text us 573-875-KTGR. We have Brian Smith, Mizzou wrestling coach, joining us next here on the Big Show to talk about all things Mizzou wrestling as the season starts Sunday. That's next.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Billy Jones. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's rounded rubber, Lee sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. Missouri's head coach Eli Drinkwitz was on the SEC head coaches teleconference today and gave some insight as far as some injuries sustained by some members of his team on Saturday in the loss to Vanderbilt. Mentioned that Beau Pribula did indeed sprain his ankle. Matt Zollers will be the quarterback going forward. Beau Pribula's return date is still unknown. Also mentioned that Brett Norfleet is suffering from a separated shoulder. The tight end status is day-to-day. Mike Pinnell was signed by the Chiefs. This will be his third stint with the team. Herring was cut from the Chiefs, fellow defensive tackle. Chiefs back in action, 3:25 on Sunday at Buffalo. Mizzou lost their first exhibition game in women's basketball, 90-84 in overtime to Maryville. Double-doubles, though, for Grace Slaughter and Jordan Reesma. Blues lost 5-2 last night to the Detroit Red Wings. That's now their fifth straight loss, and the bad news continues. Jake Neighbors is now placed on IR with a leg injury. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with Steve's Pest Control. The fall invasion is here. Call Steve and the pros at Steve's Pest Control today to help stop the pests from invading your home. Call or go online to stevespestcontrol.com.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking slowly clearing clouds as we drop down into the upper 30s tonight. Tomorrow, we'll see lighter winds with more sunshine, temperatures making it back up into the mid to upper 50s. Getting chilly by tomorrow night with a few more clouds rolling back in. We'll see lows falling into the mid to upper 30s. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
All the hard hits.
He's under pressure, and down he goes. Inside the 20-yard line.
All the jaw-dropping moments.
Makes a man miss. 30, 20, near sideline, 10, 5, touchdown.
KTGR is your home for the high school football game of the week.
Oh, my goodness. It's the district quarterfinals as the Father Tolton Trailblazers visit the North Callaway Thunderbirds.
Coverage starts with high school kickoff Friday night at 6 on Mid-Missouri's Total Sports Station, KTGR.
Football season is in full swing, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. It's available right here in Missouri, and it is so easy to play. Just predict whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. Then you use those picks to put together an entry, and if those picks are right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. There are millions of fans out there that have already won billions making plays on Underdog, and you can be next. And you can get a lot more bang for your buck if you sign up right now. Download the app today and sign up with promo code KTGR to score $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code KTGR. Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 or older and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
You work hard, and so should your equipment. That's why at Farm Power Lawn and Leisure, we trust Kubota, and so can you. Whether it's a Kubota tractor to manage your land, a Kubota zero-turn mower for a perfect cut, or a Kubota side-by-side to handle every task, Kubota makes work easier, smoother, and more reliable. And when it's time for maintenance, our expert service team keeps your Kubota running strong because you deserve equipment that works as hard as you do. Get the power, performance, and support you need all in one place. Visit us at 1702 Business Loop 70 East, Columbia. Farm Power Lawn and Leisure, your home for Kubota sales and service.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and all month long, Lee's Tire Company will be raising money for Brakes for Breasts. This is your chance to help too. When you get a qualifying brake job done at any Lee's location this month, you can choose to get or give up to $40 mail-in rebate. For every $40 donated, Lee's will match your gift all month long.
Lee's Tire Company is round for you. Ooh, see Lee's.
Right there. That hole opens up, and he did not hesitate to hit it.
Seriously, you don't have to live like this. Just trying to watch football and laugh at obviously hilarious things the broadcasters say. Your favorite team plays outside. You should be watching them outside on a Crutch's deck.
Yeah, he got penetration there, but he just couldn't finish it.
Get a custom outdoor football watching oasis with Crutch's Custom Exteriors. True beauty is on the outside. CrutchesCustomExteriors.com.
1851 Underground in Fulton is a unique spot with delicious menu items like the prime rib sandwich, sliced and stacked with pepper jack cheese, caramelized onion, creamy horseradish, and crispy onion straws, all on ciabatta bread. Grab some friends and check out the daily happy hour from 3 to 5, weekends included. Enjoy a craft beer or a cocktail. It's no secret, but it is underground. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill in the historic Brick District, downtown Fulton.
My name is Nick Rasmussen, and I used Phyllis Nichols to get my life insurance. So I really wanted to get a term policy that would cover us for the next 20 years. For some reason, something happened to me, knowing that my wife was going to be taken care of. Life insurance is a really tricky topic, and working with Phyllis, she talked about all the ins and the outs, what I was getting, why should I do whole life or term, all those different types of products that are out there can be incredibly confusing. Phyllis will sit down and go through all of those with you. I just know that she's always got my best interest at heart, and everybody in town should use her the next time they're getting a quote.
The best local sports talk around on your ride home. You've got The Big Show on KTGR.
We're back here on The Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Andy Humphrey here. As we get closer to November, we're also closer to Mizzou wrestling season. The Tigers open up the 25-26 campaign. This weekend, they'll host the Missouri Duels coming up on Sunday against several opponents as Tiger Style Wrestling has their first competition of the year. And joining us now, Mizzou Wrestling head coach Brian Smith on the KTGR hotline. And coach, to have, first of all, this ramp up that you've seen from your group this year as you transition into this new season, what's it been like to have some newcomers in, but also acclimating with guys that you've had for several years now, setting up for now this regular season?
It's been a really good, if you call it off season, because we're always training. But throughout the spring, summer, I was having meetings with my team leaders. It was 7 guys. We read a book, and then we would have discussions each week. And then they would have meetings off campus with the team and do things as groups. And And the team has grown really close. We had a couple transfers come in, a lot of newcomers. I think 9 new freshmen come in. It was a 3rd or 4th ranked class in the country. So it's exciting. But they kind of molded together, being here all together this summer, and now this fall getting into it. So now we compete this Sunday, and we're doing it a little different this year, where we're having the Missouri duels instead of the black and gold. We wrestle each other every day in the room, and it's like, I don't want to have a black and gold. So we decided to invite all the colleges that have wrestling in Missouri and do some duels. So we'll have 3 mats out, all the teams wrestling each other, and kind of celebrate the sport of college wrestling in the state of Missouri. And we're getting we're having a youth day with a clinic. So it should be a great weekend with all that going on.
Certainly so, and looking forward to it this Sunday, a chance to see Mizzou wrestling for the first time. Let's go back to kind of from this spring and summer, and especially with some of your younger wrestlers that get a chance to compete nationally and at times even internationally with some of your other wrestlers. What was that kind of like with the under 20s and the under 23s, with several guys that are not only on your roster, but also even assistant coaches? Jared JQ still wrestling. How was that to see some guys still get some action this summer?
Yeah, I mean, Jared's had an outstanding freestyle career so far in the last couple of years. I think he just took 3rd at the U.S. Open, and so he's right in the thick of things, coming into 2020, I think it's 2028 with the Olympic run. Keegan didn't compete in it, but is on our coaching staff now and is getting healthy from his injury from last year. So he's just starting to go live. So he'll start competing this off season. But then like Josh Edmond goes out and wins the U20s or the U23s. And we had a lot of success. We have guys that love to compete. And so it's good. It keeps them training, keeps them competing. And I think it kind of brings out some of the, that when they're competing, what issues you're having and what things are working, and you get better. I just think you grow from it. So we like when our guys are competing in the off season.
Brian Smith, Mizzou wrestling coach here on the Big Show, KTGR, and the KTGR app. And you mentioned it there with Keegan O'Toole, of course, multiple-time national champion for you, one of the more decorated Mizzou wrestlers out there. Being able to keep him in the program on your staff as an assistant coach, of course, he still gets to, as you know, train and compete internationally and nationally with some of his endeavors. But to have him in the building still, working with your group that you have now, how important is that, especially for this season in his first year out of now the NCAA competition?
He's just one of the most knowledgeable guys that I've coached. He has a passion for coaching, which not everybody has that. Everybody thinks they do, but Keegan does. And he just is really special at it. When he gets on the mat, the way he has a way of working, with teaching and coaching the guys up. And so for me, it was like, man, this is a no-brainer. We got to keep this kid on board. And he's not a kid anymore, but I call him that. But he's just got a knack for it, that he wants to do that. He knows that he can't train 12 hours a day. So is he doing everything coaching-wise? No, because we have to give him time to train. And he's getting ready for the run in 28. But he can be a part of calling recruits. He's on the mat helping run practice. So he's doing a lot of double duty for us, but to get him to stay here and be a part of it, the guys appreciate it because he's an exceptional technician.
For sure. And looking forward to seeing how he does in that role here very soon. With your group this year, coming off of last season, still, even with O'Toole leaving, you still have returning All-American and Cam Steed, some guys that competed in the NCAAs last year, and Josh Edmond, Jay Conway, and Cade Moore. And just to have that returning group, how important will they be as they kind of take another step forward and try to rise up from maybe last year's mark?
Yeah, I mean, those 4 are the nucleus, and they've been in the lineup a couple years and been going to nationals. So it's besides Cam, who has a legitimate chance to win a national title. They are the nucleus, but then you add to that, that they've been going, that they've got to get on the podium. And Aiden Sinclair, who we held in red shirt last year, we were thinking about pulling him and we didn't. and he's almost made the world team this summer. He's one of the best wrestlers we've gotten out of, Wisconsin, since Keegan. He's the next one, and he comes in and he's just competing at a high level. So we're excited to have him get in the lineup. And then we got 2 transfers that are in their 5th and 6th years, but their last year transfer in from Northwestern, and it's Max Mayfield and Evan Bates. They're both ranked somewhere between 10 and 12 in the country, so they've been to the NCAA tournament. So when you look at experience, we have a pretty experienced team, but we'll be starting some first-time freshmen like Mac Mauger at 125, a young man from Blackfoot, Idaho, who has won so many national titles in freestyle and Greco, but redshirted last year and had a really successful season and is already ranked in the top 30, I think, right now. And then you have guys like Seth Mendoza coming in, who's a true freshman, but was one of the top recruits in the country. And there's, it's going to be hard for us to keep him out of the lineup. He's going to be starting for us in these first duels. So I'm excited to just see those things with this team, with the experience, and then these youthful movement with these young guys coming in that are ready to get going.
For sure. Brian Smith, Mizzou wrestling coach here on the Big Show KTGR. And you mentioned the number of new young players that you have and having such a highly ranked class. So I'm sure when all of those guys come into the room, it even breeds the competition within themselves to try and gain opportunities. How do you kind of use that as a weapon to continue to fill these spots that you'll eventually have and try to fill these roles going forward?
I mean, competition's good. And when you have a competitive room, the room is just, it elevates. Guys are competing at a high level. They're battling. I mean, for some days it's tough. I've seen a few of the freshmen close to tears or in tears because they've had some tough days, because when you're experienced and you have 23-year-olds wrestling 18, 19-year-olds, there's that experience and strength, but they adapt to it and they grow from it too. And having a good mix of experience and young guys, they're going to also coach them through these difficult times and show them how to train and how you're going to travel and all these things that you have to learn, because you're just coming from high school where you're wrestling in your state. Now you're wrestling all over the country and just preparing for a D1 schedule. That I'm excited about this team. It's not ranked where we normally are, but I do see the possibilities with it. And I know that they've put the time in the spring and summer that they want to make some waves. And that's fun. It's fun. It's that youthfulness of this, a lot of new people in the program that they came here for a reason. They want to get back to, we lost matches last year because of injuries. So we've done some things to change that up, but they're excited to get back on the mat and get winning again.
Yeah, and as you get back to it here very soon, of course, you'll have the Missouri duels this Sunday, but then the Tiger Style invite, and then you get some duels against Iowa, Illinois, Nebraska will be on there. There's some interesting challenges for your group kind of right out of the gate. So to be off and running at that point, how do you kind of expect your group to ramp up to that and eventually to take on those challenges head on?
I think it's just they came here with that expectation that we wrestle a tough schedule, and they wanted that. We're going to the national duels, and we drew a team, Iowa, in the first round. Well, they drew Missouri in the first round. That's how I look at it. We'll battle with them, and we're going to get after it, and that's fun. That you see where you're at, and then a few weeks later, we're wrestling in Illinois. And Illinois, we've wrestled the last couple of years, so we're excited about that too. Getting some more Big Ten teams on the schedule, and then I think in December we have Nebraska. I think who's ranked number 2 in the country right now, 2 or 3. So it gives us opportunities to see the best teams in the country and see where we're at. But it's a long season too, so we just got to stay with the process and keep getting better. And but we have opportunities to get some big wins too. So I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to this team and the way they've prepared. That seeing where we'll start off this Sunday, and then with tougher competition the next week at our home tournament with some really good teams coming in.
For sure, and I know Mizzou fans are excited for it as well, and some early opportunities to get to see Mizzou wrestling in action as they start their season this Sunday, starting at noon when they take on Drury, then Maryville, then Central Methodist in the Missouri Duels coming up this Sunday. Be sure to check that out, and then the Tiger Style Invite the following Sunday starting at 10 a.m. Great to catch up with Brian Smith of Mizzou Wrestling here on The Big Show as Mizzou Wrestling gets underway very soon. Coach, thanks for taking the time. Enjoy this week as you get ready for it, and we'll talk very soon.
Thanks, Andy.
It's The Big Show on KTGR and the KTGR app. Pretty amazing, right? Sneaks up on you a little bit, but it's almost Mizzou wrestling season this Sunday. Be sure to check it out, and we'll see how this year's group looks with last year not necessarily going their way. Injuries really got in the way of that, and we'll see who emerges as the true front runners for those championships very soon as Tiger Style Wrestling gets the season started here this weekend. Thanks for joining us today. Be sure to join us tomorrow at 4 o'clock. We've got both Mizzou basketball head coaches set to join us, Dennis Gates and Kelly Harper. We'll have conversations with both. Hope you join us for tomorrow's big show. Should be a lot of fun. And be sure to stay tuned because we have coverage of World Series Game 5 tonight in Los Angeles. Blue Jays and Dodgers series knotted up at 2. ESPN Radio's coverage begins in just a couple of minutes, so stay tuned for that. We'll see you tomorrow. He's Brendan. He's producer Billy. I'm Andy. We're done for now.
It's that time of year again. Hit a deer, win a cow with FPP Body Shop. Listen, I'm not